Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Get involved in clubs. Please take classes that are within your knowledge base. Try to stick with more positive people who stay in this show. Today I will be giving some tips and advice from a high school senior, which I still can't believe I'm a senior. So I have compiled a list of things that my friends also helped me create. So I made a little poll on my personal Instagram and I asked hey, what kind of tips and advice would your freshman self had wanted? So I just decided to compile a list of things that I thought would be relevant to the video. Anyways, let's get started with the first thing. So the first thing that we're gonna dive into is going to be academics. So get involved in clubs. Do not just throw them out because they're nerdy, I don't think it's gonna work for me in the future. You can end up making lifelong friends from clubs. I mean, the clubs at my school are kind of like cliques. I know that it's not exactly like that at every school, but I know that in clubs you can learn so much from participating in events and doing other things. For me, I'm not necessarily in a club. I'm in the orchestra, which I consider kind of an extracurricular, even though it is a class. I have made lifelong friends there that I know we will be in contact until after high school. And it's just such a beautiful thing because we get to perform together, and in the past couple of years we've gone on field trips out of state and we competed and won competitions of the western side of the US, and it's just so incredible. It's so fun. So I do definitely recommend getting involved in clubs. And the second thing of academics is to make a schedule so that you're not too stressed. I know, guys, everyone procrastinates. I still procrastinate on things too. Heck, I'm making this video instead of doing my calc assignment. What I would recommend is to make a Notion. This video is not sponsored, by the way, but Notion, please sponsor me. I've been using you all of my high school career. But I can make another video showing you guys my Notion. It is seriously so helpful. I just make it all pretty. I include a little clock, and then I include some pictures, and then the titles of my classes, and then a little to-do list in the middle. So literally just 3 columns and then a calendar on the very bottom. It's those 4 things, and then that's it. It's such a cute way to organize your stuff without using Google Calendar. I know that some people don't exactly like using that. Me personally, I do it for bigger events such as concerts I may need to attend for orchestra or swim events that I need to go to. Notion I highly recommend using for high school as it can organize everything for you. I've even taken notes on there, all of my notes for biotech, they've all been taken on Notion. So it's an incredible resource for you to not get too far behind on your classes, because I was very guilty of that. My sophomore and junior year, I would wait until the last second to submit things. It was so bad. But for senior year, I'm trying to change up my habits and do better now. Sorry, I moved the camera down a little bit. But the next thing that I want to talk about is to not overwork yourself. Please take classes that are within your knowledge base. I'm not saying to not challenge yourself. I'm saying don't overwork yourself. There's a very big difference. So this year, for example, my senior year, I'm taking 7 classes. I'm taking 6 classes at school and 1 in an online college. So that way I'm not too super stressed. Last year, I took 10. The limit at my school is 8. So I think you can imagine how taking 2 other classes that were advanced would affect my mental health. I was spiraling my junior year. It was seriously so bad. I never want to go through that again. Not the school aspect. I mean, I had so much fun with my friends, and obviously I started dating my boyfriend junior year, but just the amount of school stress I had because I didn't plan accordingly and thought that I could take so many to boost my GPA, it wasn't worth it. I ended up doing pretty bad in some of those classes because I was so stressed and so mentally drained that I just couldn't keep going. But this year, I feel very confident in all of my classes that I've chosen. I've only chosen a couple advanced ones, and other ones are just, like very chill classes, not very rigorous or anything. So I do highly recommend staying within your reach. If you are thinking of taking more than 4 AP classes in 1 year, do not do it, okay? I took 6 last year, and I'm not saying that you're gonna fail or anything. I failed 2 of mine, just to give you an idea, because I did end up taking all of the sciences last year except environmental science. So I took AP Bio, AP Chem, and AP Physics 1, and I did not pass Physics 1. Neither did I think the rest of my class didn't pass Physics 1 either. I got a 2, but I passed the other ones, which is great. Just do not overwork yourself in those APs, in those college classes, because I know that you would like that GPA boost. At least I think this is what my target audience is like, kind of in the mindset of that, like, oh, I'm gonna take as many AP classes as I can, get that GPA boost before I graduate. No, it's not worth it. Stick to easier APs if you want to take a larger quantity, but if you're going to take more difficult APs, limit yourself to like 4, and then that should be enough. Next, I want to talk about self-confidence. This was a question asked by a lot of people I know, is to like how to work on your self-confidence. I'm working on that myself right now, but I feel like I've gotten way better over the past couple years. So first of all, take time to recharge. So your social battery is going to run out a lot in high school. At least that's how it is for me. You're going to be sometimes overstimulated by the amount of noise in the class, and you just like want to run out, like, oh my gosh, my head hurts so bad because these kids are screaming in here, especially freshman year. Freshman year is insane because people just scream out of nowhere. But just take your time to recharge. Find little hobbies that you like to do. For me, that's crocheting. I love crocheting. I also love Bible journaling, so that way I can take my mind off everything and just take a moment for myself and put myself first in that moment. So that's how I recharge. Or sometimes I just scroll on TikTok until I'm rotting, which is not very good. I'm trying to limit that TikTok screen time, but it also helps me relax sometimes. And another thing is, don't be afraid to ask for help. This is kind of between academics and self-confidence, because for confidence, sometimes you can learn a lot from asking other people, like your peers, like, how do you feel about this? And then you can see their thought process and see kind of how they think of things in life, because you can ask like more confident people that you know, like, oh, how do you deal with these kinds of situations? Like, don't be afraid to ask for advice. Like, more times than not, people are going to be so happy to talk to you about those kinds of emotions. I know that I love to talk about those kinds of things with my friends, and that's a lot of the conversations we end up having is like, how do you deal with this personally? How can I get over this? And another thing for asking for help is in your classes. Do not be afraid to raise your hand. I know I'm literally like in my senior year, and I'm still kind of scared to ask questions sometimes, but I've been participating more in like group discussions. So because I do know more of my teachers this year, so I kind of feel more confident since I already have that prior knowledge of them last year and we got along well, and I would talk to them. Take time to talk to your teachers and get to know them too. Ask them things like, hey, what did you do over summer? Or hey, like, how do you do this math problem? Or hey, I didn't really get the reading, like, can you help me understand? Or what is wrong with my writing here? They love those questions. They're there to help you, you know? I know that some teachers are kind of strict and they seem like kind of really mean, but trust me, like, so many teachers, they just want to help you. They're there to help you. That's their job. And a lot of times you can end up, like, you know, making friends with the teachers, and it's just such a beautiful thing, honestly. For my biotech teacher, I've been in her class for 4 years now, since it is a program at my school. And we're, like, the whole class is just so close because we just interact with her so much, and so great. It's so loving. So I do recommend asking your teachers for help too, because not only that, you can also ask them for recommendations in your senior year, because I already have some teachers that I know that I would like to ask them stuff for recommendations for my college apps, because they've already known me these past couple of years, so they do have a story to tell that would be in my favor. Another thing for self-confidence is to open yourself up to getting to know new people. And be careful, but still be careful with who you associate yourself with. So freshman year is all about making those friends, and I can guarantee you right now, freshman year, you're gonna make tons of friends, okay? You're gonna make tons of friends. But then by sophomore year, it's gonna go in half, and it's gonna go halving until your senior year. So what I did after my sophomore year was kind of rough for me. I tried to fit in a bunch of places where I just didn't belong, and I don't recommend that. Don't try to just like go with the popular kids because they're popular. Don't make yourself seem like someone you're not, because you're gonna have that imposter syndrome, like, hey, like this doesn't feel like myself. I don't feel like me when I'm around these people. You need to find people that you're yourself with, and you know, you can just have that laughter, share those fun moments and memories with. And I found my group, you know, like my 4 lifers that I'm gonna be friends with for so many years to come. After sophomore year, just begin kind of recognizing, seeing those signs as to like, oh, is this person too much of a gossiper? Like, are they just talking too much trash about people? Because there will be those people you come across that you will become friends with who will just talk so much trash for no reason and will just hate on anyone that they come across. And this is like another thing. I said be careful who you associate with, because you end up becoming who you associate with. So if I remember having a friend sophomore year where like she would just talk trash about anyone and everyone, and I started getting more into that conversation, and I was like, oh yeah, no, like she's just so annoying, and that didn't feel well. Like, it didn't feel right. It's okay to be annoyed sometimes, I understand that. Just don't be talking trash all the time about someone. Try to stick with more positive people who will push you to always do your best in what you're motivated to do and your passions. Because at least like for my friends and I, we love supporting each other. Like, it is our thing. Like, we're not exactly worried about what other people are saying. We're just doing our own thing. And it did take me some time to, you know, get away from that toxic environment, especially at the beginning of junior year. But I mean, now I'm here and I'm very happy with the people I've chosen to surround myself with, because I'm happy with who I've become. I've become a more positive person around them because, like I said, you become the people you surround yourself with. And another topic that we're going to go into now is relationships. And the subtopic is to know your worth. There's not much to say there. Just know your worth, because okay, I'm gonna say this from the perspective of like a girl who's dating a guy, right? So say this guy I'm dating isn't, you know, he isn't planning dates, or he isn't asking me to go out all the time. Well, not all the time, but like he just isn't asking me to go on dates. He doesn't compliment me at all. He doesn't, like, you know, say good morning, good night, or hey, how was your day? I should not be always the one to be asking those questions and making that effort to go out. You know what I mean? I know that high school relationships, like, oh, people online are saying like, oh, let the man pay, but realistically, you're gonna have to go like 50-50, if not like 70-30. I mean, at least for with my boyfriend that I have, like, he is willing to pay for a lot of my stuff, and I'm so grateful for him, because he is so incredibly sweet. Like, he cares about me so much, and he does ask me how my day is. He like asks me, like, he tells me good morning every morning, good night. He says I love you regularly. He compliments me. He's always trying to make plans to hang out with me. And we're both reciprocating that. So if you're settling for someone just because like they're hot, or oh, they're so cool, don't do that. Just because like it like levels up your popularity or whatever, don't just date a person for that. I know that high school dating, it doesn't really get taken too seriously, but you could end up one of those like 2 or 5% of high school sweethearts that end up together. So be careful who you date, because it can also have an impact on your mental health. I've gone out with guys who just have had no respect for like the girl's emotions, and just like straight up ghost you, and it feels really bad. So just get to know the person first and be careful with what you do. And another thing, relationships wise, is to keep your priorities straight. This is something I struggled with at the beginning of my relationship, actually, because I was settling in the things I wanted to do. I had like big plans that I wanted to do more things, but I was like, no, maybe I'll like stay in this shell and like keep myself there. Don't do that. You need to discuss with your partner, like, hey, this is what I want to do and I'm gonna do it. And it's up to them whether they decide to support it or not. And this is especially like for junior, senior high school sweethearts, because you're gonna most likely end up being separated for college. So do not just end up going to like the closest college that like everyone in your town is going to, and just because you guys are going to be together. Like, no, you guys need to explore and see different options, not dating options, but I mean more options for you to study in the world. You're going to need that exposure in order to do well in the workforce. At least that's what I believe. So keep your priorities straight, and don't just abandon your friends because you're dating someone. Like, don't just leave your girlfriends, because they have been there for you since like the beginning, okay? They've been through the ups and the downs. They've been there for you all the time. So do not leave your friends. I've seen so many instances where that happens. So please stick to your friends. Friends, like, they're so important. Okay, I try to put them on the same level of importance as my relationship, so that way not one's getting neglected or too much attention. Now we're gonna be moving on to drama. This is a big one. This is something that was very prevalent all throughout junior year. Yeah. I had an instance that I'd rather not talk about, but basically just people would be stalking my account, and my school had a confessions account where very hurtful things were sent in, and it's really so sad just even thinking about it, because it brings me back to everything. I'm over it now, but whenever you get hate, do not respond to the hate. That's something I've been trying to drill into my head. Like, don't respond to the hate, Like, I know I'm still guilty of doing this, of like making TikToks, of like, oh, snapping back or whatever. But just try to stay out of it. Those people, they're, like I said, be careful who you surround yourself with, because those people, if you end up like, when you end up leaving them, they're always going to have something bad to say about you. And they'll be willing to give out all your secrets to like whoever will listen. So do not respond to the hate. Just keep yourself in your bubble and have your friends there to support you, because they will remind you of your worth. They'll remind you like, hey, you're not a bad person. You're an incredible person, actually. So do not let them brainwash you and get into your brain to think like, oh, I'm such a bad person, like why would I ever do that? I mean, obviously, like, yes, question sometimes like how your actions affect people, but don't let it get into your mind so much that you become depressed, because that did happen to me junior year, and it was really bad, honestly. But I've gotten over it, because I'm so grateful for the people who are in my life right now. I'm very thankful for everything that is in my life, and I've managed to pray for that to happen. and thank God everything is going well right now. Another thing on the drama is do not get revenge. This is kind of like don't respond to the hate, but like just because someone says something about you, don't make up a rumor about them to like get back at them, or don't be telling secrets to get back at them. If someone tells you like, oh, this is what so and so said about you, it's okay to tell your side of the story, but don't twist it. Just be honest. If you screwed up too, that's fine. Like, people stop talking about it after a while, though. Some people don't. But just try to stay out of it as much as you can. I think that for right now, I'm mostly out of the drama. People have stopped talking about me, which is great. So it's what I'm telling you. Like, after that school year, like, people will completely forget about you. So don't be too self-conscious. It's something I'm still working on too, of not being too self-conscious about what people think of me. But like I said, I'm very grateful for everyone in my life right now, and I'm just so happy. Another last thing I want to talk about is to mentally prepare yourself for senior year. So another question I got is like how to make lists for college and like prepping for college. I don't exactly know that for sure yet, but I will make another video once I've graduated and everything. That sounds so weird to say. Oh my gosh, like what do you mean I'm graduating in less than a year? Okay, but for college lists, I've made my college list already, so I know which places I am applying to. I'm not gonna exactly say here on the internet. I'll make my reactions video once I've applied everywhere and everything. College lists. First of all, you need to make sure what your budget is. You need to think about what tuition can I afford, what scholarships can I get, and what kind of aid can I receive from my state. Because in the US at least, you can receive financial aid if you have a certain income, a certain GPA. I know some people that like just for having above a 3.5, they get a scholarship from the state, which is kind of like aid. I don't exactly know how it works. But make sure to look into those things before applying to a school, because if you can't afford it and then it's your dream school, you get in, you're like, wait, that would really suck, right? So to avoid that heartbreak, first see what you can afford and what you can do, how you can get to that. And if you can't exactly afford it, colleges always will give aid to those who are eligible, so always look into that. So for me, the tuition part isn't exactly too much of an issue for me. It's mostly the location, because I don't know how far I want to go. I don't want to be too far from my family. That was something I struggled with for a while, because I did want to apply to like colleges in the East Coast, but then I decided I don't want to be that far from my parents and all my friends and everything I've known for half of my life. So I've decided to just stay in like the next state over, and I think, the next state over and in this state, because I don't want to be so far away that I just can't get help. Because like I said, you're gonna need help throughout your entire life from your loved ones, and you have to be there for them too. That's what your loved ones are there for. And another thing for college apps, I haven't started yet. Well, okay, I've started, but I don't exactly know how to go through the process yet. I don't exactly know how to ask for recommendations, but when you're asking for recommendations, don't just send the request through Common App to your teacher without asking them like, hey, could you give me a recommendation? Do that first, because some people don't think it's common sense. Do that first. Ask for a recommendation from your teacher if they're okay with doing that, because sometimes they're a little too busy and they just can't fit that into their schedule. So make sure that they're able to give you that first. And then for your college essays, I'm still having trouble writing that actually, but once I do write it, I will definitely make a video on how you can write your college essay, because it's such an important part of college applications in the US. You need that college essay. But take your time with it. Don't just rush it to get it all done. If you're early decision, obviously you're gonna have to like start a little early, but just take your time with it. This is like your entire life and your entire being that you are putting into this essay to show those college I forgot the name for it, but the college boards across the nation that this is where you want to apply to. That you're showing them who you are. That's the message. Who are you, and what are you going to do for their university? What are you going to bring to the table? And another thing for senior year is to enjoy everything. My friends and I are already planning to go to every single event my school holds this year. So we're going to be going to senior sunrise, senior sunset, homecoming, prom. We're going to stay for all the assemblies. It's just going to be a fun time. So it's really sad to think about. You can't see it on the camera, but like I'm trying to hold in my tears because all of these last college is coming to an end, and it's just really emotional because that's the end of a chapter in your life, and then you're gonna be off into the world, and that's just so insane to me. In a year my life is gonna look so different. My life, my friends' lives, my boyfriend's life, even my parents, because my parents are obviously going to be affected by my absence, right? It's just such a huge change. So please enjoy everything that your school has to offer, not just because you find it cringy, you're not going to do it, okay? Because you're never going to get to experience these things ever again, especially with this group of people that you have right now. You need to enjoy the moment and be grateful for those who you have in your life. Always make sure to live in the present moment. My priest at the church gave a sermon this weekend, and he said to always live in the present moment because you never know when things are not going to be as good as they are again. So always be giving kindness to others and giving positive vibes. Don't be talking bad about people. It's okay to have opinions. Just don't be spreading rumors. Don't engage in that negative energy. You just give positivity to people, help them, support them, give them advice, and then just overall be there for them. It's so important in high school to make those connections, and I don't think other videos stress that enough. It's so important. It's so important. You're gonna need people in your life who are there to love you, support you, and you need to do the same for them. School shouldn't be a place that you dread coming to every day. I understand some classes may be difficult, but counselors are also there to make your life easier. You're able to choose your classes and what you're able to go into, and always make sure you're giving your best. I know that you can't give your 100% off. 100% off? What is this, a discount? You're 100% all the time, but just try to do everything to the best of your ability. Always give your all. That's basically all I have to say for this video. I hope that you learned something or took something away from this video. I'm gonna go cry after this video just thinking about how, yeah. Freshmen, please, I know this is so cliche, but it goes by so fast. I feel like I was just a sophomore a week ago. What do you mean? What do you mean I'm a senior? I was gonna say a senior in college, but what do you mean I'm a senior now? That's crazy. It's really crazy. So I hope that you learned something from this video, and please let me know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like me to include. I'm gonna make a video like this again next year probably, so of course just let me know probably after I graduate, because I don't want to be making a bunch of high school content once I'm in college. So just saying once I'm in college is just, I'm gonna make another video like this once I graduate, because I know that seniors we're going to be going through college decisions and then getting rejected, accepted, waitlisted. I know is going to have a tremendous effect on our mental health, so I will be back for that and how to deal with that in another video. That will be very far in the future. Well, probably not since everything goes by so fast, but yes, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, please enjoy everything. Do not overexert yourself. Be careful with who you surround yourself with, and always be giving positivity to others. And for my religious people, give God's light and shine his light to everyone else that you meet, and be as loving as you can towards everyone else. That's it for today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know what else you guys want to see. Make sure to go follow my Instagram and my TikTok. It's Isabella Rose YT for Instagram, and Issa's Influencer Era on TikTok. I'll link those down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!